All right, so let's get started on our cubes. So that way we can get to reviewing what we did yesterday. I apologize, we don't have the Chromebook, so if you did part 1 yesterday, then you're gonna have to go straight into part 2, and then some of you all will need to work one-on-one on that, especially if you were absent a couple of days.
Oh, I had finished that one.
You finished? Okay, well, that's fine. But I do know that those of you that did not finish, I changed the date for your activity online, so you still have some time, all right? So can I get a volunteer to read Friday's question? So let me first of all go back to the picture, because remember I said earlier in the week we wanted to make sure that we had the picture because we're using a vertical number line. So to make sure that everybody had this so you can refer to it as you're answering this question. All right, Regina, read the question to us.
The cab is on the 9th floor, the mailroom is on the 4th floor, and the lounge is on the 8th floor. If Kevin leaves his office going to each of the places at separate times, how many floors does he travel?
Okay, so that's our question. Don't worry about the second part. We'll talk about the second part in just a minute. So is there any words in this scenario that I need to clarify for you? Cafe, everybody know what that is, lounge. We've already had these words before, but I just want to clarify that. So let me read it again. The cafe is on the 9th floor, the mailroom is on the 4th floor, and the lounge is on the 8th floor. If Kevin leaves his office going to each of these places at separate times, how many floors does he travel? Somebody tell me what concept we've been using on our word problems this week. Eric.
Absolute value.
Absolute value, which means what, Darion?
The distance from 0.
Okay, the distance from 0. So the distance from -3 to 0 and 3 to 0 is 3. Okay, so let's talk about this. So let's cube it. C, let's circle the number words or the numbers. Yes, no? 9. Okay, we agree? All right. That's it?
No.
Okay. 4th floor. Okay, what else? In the 8th floor. So he needs something with that, all right? Any other numbers or number words we need? All right, let's move to underlining the question. What's the question? What's the key question, Stefan?
If Kevin leaves his office going to each of these places at separate times, how many floors does he travel?
Okay, so if Kevin leaves his office going to each of these places, and I'm going to emphasize each of these at separate times, emphasizing separate times, how many floors does he travel? Okay, can you sit there? Because I got the camera on, thank you. How many floors does he travel, right? So, let's talk about it. That's the question, but in the question, don't we have some direction to what to do? Okay, so what tells us what to do? Let's do the box words, mathematically or direction. Just tell me. Many. How many? And that means our answer is going to be written in what context? Our answer is going to have what? Floors as our unit. Like yesterday, was it yesterday we had a who?
Yeah.
Right, yesterday we had a who, today we have floors, okay? So any other words that tell me what to do mathematically with these numbers? If I'm traveling, am I using negative and positive numbers?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm leaving and going, right? So that's why I emphasize this. Each, remember? Each means divide. So think about this. When you go to connections, when you leave homeroom, who's your homeroom? Miss Ball. Okay, so you leave Miss Ball and you go to connections, right? And then you go to connections and you go back to Miss Ball. Then you go to Miss Ball into Miss Burt Smith. So you notice that is going to the separate place each time, right? Just like leaving home, go to the store, come back. Leave home, go to school, come back. That is what this situation is. So put yourself in the situation of you as Kevin in your office, okay? So we have the C, the U, the B, E, and S. So let's evaluate. So how are we gonna go about solving this one? Mr. Shepherd, how are we gonna go about solving it? What do you think?
I would think multiply.
Okay, so we're multiplying. So let's put ourselves in that situation. I'm working on what floor is Kevin working on? 8th floor. I'm on the 8th floor and I'm sitting at my desk, just chilling, listening to 94.5. Yep. All right, and then I need to go to the lounge. Do I multiply the number of floors? What have we done all week?
Absolute value.
Absolute value. So we're adding and subtracting, correct?
Yes.
All right, so let's go from there. So Mr. Shepherd, you with us? So Kevin is sitting at his desk. What's his first movement? He's going where?
To the mailroom.
To the mailroom. What floor is Kevin on?
9.
He's on the 8th and he's going to the 9th. How do I describe that in absolute value? I'm on the 8th floor and I'm going up to the 9th. Plus 1. So the absolute value of positive 1 or plus 1 is what? 1. The absolute value of 1 is 1, correct? Okay. All right. Then he goes back to his office. He goes back to his office. How do I describe that in absolute value, Stephon?
-7.
Okay, so he's on the 9th floor and he needs to go back down to the 8th floor. Negative who? This is the question. I'm on the 9th and I'm going down to the 8th. -1. So I'm going down the elevator or down to the next floor. So that's the absolute value. So the absolute value of going up to the 9th floor and coming back down. Okay, so that's the first movement because it said he's doing constant movements that day, right? I mean, when you get to work, you don't go to the bathroom, to lunch, breakfast, and gym at the same movement, do you?
No.
Okay, you gotta go from somewhere. All right, so the next one is he needs to go down to the mailroom, and the mailroom is on the 4th floor. So if I'm on the 8th floor and I'm going down to the 4th floor, I said a key word, what would that be? Kari? Going down 4, which is -4. Good job. Oh, let me change the color. That's a different movement. So we're down in the mail room. We pick up the mail, and I'm going back to my office. Keandra, if I go back to my office, I'm on the 4th floor, and I'm going back to my office, up to my office, +4. The absolute value of +4. All right? Are we still moving? Yeah. Okay. All right, the next one is we're going to the lounge. The lounge is on the 8th floor, Adriana, and the office is on the 8th floor. What's our movement? 0. And do we need to put absolute value around that?
No.
No, all right, so let's simplify. The absolute value of 1? 1. And the absolute value of -1? The absolute value of -4?
4.
The absolute value of 4? And 0. Okay, what's the answer? Put it all together.
10.
Okay?